So welcome back to our IFRS masterclass discussion, and in this video I'm going to be answering some common questions that students have when it comes to the IFRSs. The first question here is, Nhyira, how do I know which accounting standard to apply in a given question? Now, it is important you understand that sometimes when you read a footnote, you need to apply accounting standards. So when it comes to preparation of single entity financial statements, each of the footnotes will be an accounting standard. Or even in business valuation and in corporate reporting, you're going to be realizing that you would have to remeasure the assets and liabilities, and so you have to apply an accounting standard. Or even in ratios, evaluation of the financial performance and position of entities, you would have to be able to understand the accounting standard and make certain adjustments before you calculate the ratios in the question. And so it is then important for us to know, when we read a note, which accounting standard, which principle must we call on. Now, in order for you to know which accounting standard that the note is referring to and which principle to apply, it means that you need to really have a deeper understanding on all of the accounting standards. And so there is no shortcut to anywhere. So if you understand the accounting standards and the basic principles, then you will know the accounting standard to apply. So let me give you some examples here. So let's say that we are reading a note, and the note reads as follows: an entity sold goods with a repurchase option. So I am hearing an entity sold goods, but then the subsequent statement is crucial. So although I am hearing the entity sold goods, I will be thinking about IFRS 15, revenue from contract with customers. But an entity sold goods with a repurchase option. Oh, that means that the transaction is not a sale. So that transaction, we cannot use IFRS 15, revenue from contract with customers. Instead, we would have to use IFRS 9, financial instrument recognition and measurement. Why? Because if an entity sells goods with a repurchase option, what it means is that the inventories have been used as a collateral facility to receive money from the supposed buyer. So it is not a sale, but a financial arrangement. And so that transaction, the money we got cannot be included in the sales figure. Instead, it must be recognized as a liability, a financial liability, and interest will be calculated on it. So that is the idea. Now, for you to reach that conclusion, it means that you understand IFRS 15. Because under IFRS 15, revenue can only be measured when performance obligation is satisfied, meaning risks and rewards has been transferred to the buyer. But if an entity makes sales with a repurchase option, that means they have not transferred risks and rewards. And so we cannot recognize it as sales. It will be recognized as a financial arrangement. And so we don't apply IFRS 15, we'll apply IFRS 9. So you realize that in that scenario there, you need to be mindful of the fundamental principles. And so my answer to that question is, don't think about it that way first. You need to be solid on the accounting standards. Because when you understand the basic principles on the accounting standards, you will know the key terminologies used to describe each of the scenarios in each of the accounting standards. And so then when you read the footnotes, quickly you will know which accounting standards you're supposed to be applying. And in certain questions, you may be required to use probably 2 or 3 accounting standards to be able to reach a conclusion or the solution required for the question. So, Nhyira, how do I know which accounting standard I am supposed to apply in a given question or in a given scenario? My recommendation is understand the accounting standards. That's the key thing. If you understand the accounting standards and the key principles and concepts underlining the accounting standards, when you read the footnote, it will click. Then the second thing that I will say is that Take your time when you are reading the footnote. Don't read the footnote. No. So I tell my students this, that when you are reading the questions, you need to learn to control your breath. What it means is that, like the scenario, the entity sold goods with a repurchase option. Okay. Then I held my breath. I didn't finish reading the conclusion yet, right? But I know quickly that when an entity makes sales with repurchases option, it is not IFRS 15, it is IFRS 9 that is applying. So now when I continue to read, I am looking for the interest rate applicable on the possible financial liability so that I can calculate my interest that will be recognized in the P&L account and added to the proceeds that we got from the sale of the goods, and also then know that because the inventory has not been sold, it must also be included in the closing inventory in the statement of financial position. So yes, understand the principles, but when you are reading the notes, learn to hold your breath. Now, most of my students will tell me that, like Nhyira, I cannot. Then some others come and tell me that, hey, Nhyira, when I started doing it, I am getting the understanding of what I'm doing. So instead of reading the whole note and now try to think about what the heck it is talking about, when I read, hold my breath, I'm able to process. But the thing also you must understand is that some people say that, oh, that would take longer time. No. When you read, hold your breath, it allows you to interpret what you have read as quickly as possible, know the principle to apply, and then boom, be able to provide the answer to the question. So that would be my answer to this question. Spend time to understand the principles, the concepts underlining the accounting standards. You cannot skip this one. You need to understand the basic principles. And once you understand the basic principles, boom, when you read the notes, it will occur to you naturally. But if you don't understand the accounting standards, you can solve 7 million questions and you will still see a footnote and you wouldn't know what to do. It's not that the question is difficult, it is that your foundation is weak. And if the fundamentals are weak, you know what is going to be happening. You're going to fail the examination because you cannot answer the question. Let me hear from you. Any other questions you have for me in the comment section. Remember to subscribe, like, follow, and share this video with others. I'll see you in the next one.